to the Walnut Desk podcast, where we talk about one subject or topic until we have to stop. Today's topic is groceries. Will, how do you feel about groceries?
I love groceries. I need them. They're my lifeblood.
I also need them.
Once a week, you make that pilgrimage, you know?
You do? Well, yeah. I do it once a week. Do you think everyone does it once? Like, how often do you think people grocery shop? Like, what's the average schedule like?
Yeah, I think there's two schools there, right?
Okay.
Some people might go, like, on a Sunday or on a Monday, get their groceries for the week, you know, deal with it that way. There's also, I think, a lot of people who might go ingredient by ingredient. Like, if they're going to make a specific thing,
get the ingredients
on
for
a
that
Wednesday,
day.
they go that day and they buy the ingredients and go.
That sounds luxurious to me.
I prefer to go once a week.
Yep.
Yeah, I usually go on Sundays. What about you?
Same. I try to go on Sundays. In my head, I usually go on Sundays, but it happens whenever.
Right.
Sometimes it's a Thursday, and then it throws everything off.
So I referred to the grocery shopping experience as a pilgrimage. To which grocery store do you pilgrim most often?
Well, cost to quality wise, these days, I think Trader Joe's is number one for me.
Yeah.
So I either go to Trader Joe's, or there's a Safeway really close to my apartment, and sometimes I just like grab shit there. But for the weekly pilgrimage, it's Trader Joe's and Target.
Trader Joe's and Target. Interesting.
Yes.
I never think of Target as a supermarket. What is available there that you can't get at Trader Joe's?
You can get some stuff really cheap there.
Okay.
Compared to Trader Joe's. And I use Target for like all of the, I don't know, Hannah and I have to buy like conditioner every 2 weeks or something. Like, it's just like we have to go to Target.
Really? Conditioner every 2 weeks?
Yeah, like, not really, but it seems frequent.
Yeah. I think I've had the same bottle of conditioner for like 3 years. Sometimes I remember to use it. Sometimes
We
I
get the
don't.
big one.
Yeah.
We get like the big
Oh yeah, I've
Aussie
seen that.
pump.
It's got the pump.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so Target is like more for the staples, right? The goods that are non-consumable. I guess they're technically consumable.
Paper towels,
Non-edible.
toilet paper.
Yeah.
But you know, for a couple weeks I was shopping at Target with like the discounts that they were offering, because I was pretty strapped, so you could get like beef. It's probably the worst beef ever, but you could get like very cheap meat there.
Okay, I'll do you one better for cheap meat. I went to a grocery outlet. That's like my equivalent Trader Joe's from where I am. I have to drive a bit to get to Trader Joe's. So what's cool about grocery outlet is like they definitely have some loss leaders, but sometimes those loss leaders are fantastic.
Really?
I got kombucha teas for like $1.49 a piece, and they were like the flavors that nobody wants.
Yeah.
Grapefruit flavored, and I guess they didn't sell well, and they're about to expire. That place is great for stuff that's about to expire. Also, the meat is about to expire, which is how I got onto this topic. Is
Right.
I just had some bad pork shoulder.
You've had
one
some bad
time.
ones? Yeah.
I didn't eat it because it ended up having gone bad, but like the minute I left, I put it in my fridge for 2 days, and I looked at the expiration date. It like had expired in that time.
That sucks.
So that's the trade-off about that place. Things are about to turn.
Gotta pay attention in grocery outlet.
Yeah.
Can't glaze over.
But grocery outlet is a place I'd never heard of before.
Yeah, me either.
It doesn't exist on the East Coast, which
No.
leads me to wonder how are all these supermarkets connected? Are they connected, or are these like regional, almost like cartel type situations?
Yeah, do you know the answer to that question? Because I have no idea.
No, I have no idea either. I do know that Safeway is up here where we live in the Bay Area, and I believe a place called Albertsons in LA are actually owned by the same company.
Okay.
And they're very similar inside, yet they brand them differently for different regions. And I couldn't venture a guess why. Maybe Albertsons versus Safeway. I mean, one of them sounds fancier. Which one sounds fancier to you?
I actually don't think either of them sound fancy.
Safeway just sounds like, oh yeah, it's safe and it's on the way.
But like something that's Safeway seems to me like the person who says you can trust me. Like if it's Safeway,
don't worry.
then it's not. You've been in the Safeway near my apartment.
Yes.
You've likened it to prison.
It's just weird. It's open 24 hours, so there's this weird feeling tending to, like, when we're walking back from the bars, going in there to grab, the midnight snack or something like that, and the person who's in charge of ringing you up at your Safeway is the custodian.
Right.
So they're open 24 hours, but they're no more open 24 hours than a non-24 hour Safeway where the custodian was like, fuck no, I'm not going to ring people up while I'm cleaning. And you have to squeeze a squishy toy.
Yeah, there's a squeaky
like a dog toy.
But it's like what is it? It's like a frog. It's a squeaky frog that you have to squeeze for somebody to come and check you out.
Yeah, and you kind of squeeze it and wait, and all of a sudden out of in between some aisles or in between the baguettes comes the custodian.
Some dude.
He emerges and rings you up.
Anyway, yeah, so regionality and grocery stores.
Yes.
I was trying to do some light Googling. They are separate. Like Safeway is its own company.
Okay.
So you're talking about the rebranding thing for regions?
Yeah.
The biggest shocker to me is that the bread, Oro Wheat versus Arnold's, is exactly the same branding. The packaging is exactly the same. It's definitely the same bread between the East Coast and the West Coast. However, how did they name it two different things? Like, where do you think that came from? My theory, before you tell me yours, is that it's similar to Panera Bread and St. Louis Bread.
Oh, I remember you telling me that. Can you tell me?
Yeah. So St. Louis Bread Company, I only know this because I drove through St. Louis on the road trip that I took to move out here. You go in and it's St. Louis Bread Company, but it's essentially a Panera Bread. Like what you know as not being from St. Louis as a Panera Bread, that's the same company. But the original company was St. Louis Bread, and then Panera bought them and made the model based on them.
Okay.
But somehow they got to keep the model branded for themselves in St. Louis.
Oh, so it's like the owners sold a franchise, but we're going to keep operating our store the way we used to.
Yeah.
Feel
so
free
I'll
to
bet
scale.
Arnold's was a bread company that whatever conglomerate produces that bread purchased, and they were in the contract they had to continue to use Arnold's name.
Yeah.
Or they wanted to because it had notoriety.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Branding and acquisitions of just staples like that.
Yeah.
It's a loaf of bread.
And you know what's kind of amazing is that you walk up and you see the branding. I'm sure we can picture it in our heads if you've seen it before. And it doesn't matter what it says, I would buy it. I could go to Kansas, see another name, I would know it's the same bread company. It could be Mickey Mike's bread, and it's the same branding though.
Right.
Visually, and I would buy the same bread.
I feel like I used to buy, I don't even know which one is East Coast and West Coast. What I recognize is the color, the shape, and the feel of what the package looks like. I couldn't tell you. I kind of zoned out a minute ago. And you said which one was East and West?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you which one is which, but I do know I could zone right in on that packaging.
And buy it right away.
Yeah. Commercial bakeries are interesting because the places that have a bread aisle like that always have a bakery built in.
Yes.
And is the reason why people buy bagged factory bread because it lasts a little longer because it's got preservatives?
Do you ever buy the bakery bread?
Sometimes, but usually only when I'm buying French or Italian, like a specialty bread.
Yeah, I usually do rolls like a baguette.
Do they even
Second baguette
offer?
merchant.
Could you even get a loaf of wheat from the Safeway bakery?
I can't tell you. I couldn't tell you.
I don't know.
There used to be. I used to go to this really cool bread shop. I think it was in Boston when I was living in Somerville, in the Boston area. And you could just go in and pick out your loaf of bread, and they would slice it through the slicing machine for you, and that was really cool.
I would do that.
Yeah.
But even West Coast versus East Coast versus Central versus
the South. Yeah.
I mean, when we lived in Massachusetts, there was you could go to either Stop and Shop.
Yep.
Or Shaw's.
There was Shaw's. I don't think Shaw's is around anymore.
No, Shaw's closed
But Stop and Shop is definitely still there.
And Stop and Shop seems to run the whole length of the East Coast. I feel like when I was driving, I went on a road trip a few years ago to go to the Bonnaroo Music Festival. And I feel like as I went down the East Coast of the United States, I was seeing Stop and Shops the whole way.
Really?
Yeah, and some of them even had gas stations.
Huh.
The grocery gas combo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the grocery gas thing is good.
Yeah.
You save a lot of money, but you have to go to that damn gas station.
And that damn grocery store.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of parlay your points.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't Safeway do that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they do. I've never used that feature, but that's because I just use other people's phone numbers as my Safeway card because I haven't signed up for a loyalty card. I know that's laziness at its most extreme, and that I could save a lot of money if I didn't do that.
I disagree, because you have to sign up for those when you're checking out, right? Like, that's where you have to do it.
And they send you over to customer service, and then you come back with
and
your
you
card.
hold people up.
For sure.
Like, I'm not going to... That Safeway near my apartment is such a pain in the ass. I'm not going to hold other people up anymore.
No, not at all. So we're going to play a game.
Okay.
I want to break this up a little bit. We're going to play a little supermarket sweep. I'm going to give you an aisle. You're going to tell me the one thing from that aisle that you would buy.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a bit of a challenging one to start with. The canned vegetables and sauces aisle.
Shit. Okay.
The one you probably rarely go down,
Yeah.
except for to buy some tomato sauce every now and then.
Is this the same aisle that there's tuna in?
I'll give you that.
I believe there's tuna in this aisle.
Okay.
I think. Most of the time.
Yeah.
I would say tuna.
I think if it's in a can and it's a product like that, I think it's in that aisle.
Yeah.
Tuna.
I never eat canned vegetables. I've not by like any sort of like I'm into like hearty vegetables. It's just like it seems a little bit slimy.
Like literally slimy.
Yeah.
You take them out and they have a little...
Yeah, no, that's like, and I can't do it.
Because they pack them in slightly saline water, right, to preserve them. So I think that there's something that comes from that.
That seems disgusting.
Actually slimy.
Yes.
So tuna.
So tuna would be my choice because I don't know. I eat it. I eat tuna fish from the can all the time.
Follow up. Tuna packed in water. Tuna packed in oil.
Water. 100%.
Okay.
Water. Don't really care if there's is or is not salt.
Okay. Have you ever tried the chunk salmon?
No.
Canned salmon.
No.
It's right next to the tuna.
Is it good?
It's pretty good. Do you eat the tuna plain?
No. I
I
mix it with mayonnaise, and I do actually I do like mayonnaise, a little bit, and then salt and pepper, a little cayenne.
Ooh.
Goes a long way, and then also a little bit of oil.
Okay, so you do put a little oil in there, but you don't want it packed in oil. You don't want to have to drain out fat from your tuna.
It's disgusting.
You know,
and I don't know what oil they use.
We can check, because I actually bought. I was trying to figure out which one I liked better, and I know that growing up I always had tuna packed in water. That was the tuna salad that my grandma made me. That was the tuna salad that my mom and dad made me when I was a child. So it's what I know exactly. And I was thinking, my eating habits have changed a little bit. I'm trying to like increase the amount of like healthy fats and oils and protein that I eat, and decrease the amount of like processed sugar and all that. Yeah. I know that in tuna, it's not necessarily a processed sugar or processed food issue, but if you get it packed in oil, there's a lot more fat in there. So I would need to figure out what kind of oil that is. But I bought two side by side. I bought a water and an oil, and the oil ones have been sitting in my cabinet for months. I ate all the water ones, and there's just something when I go to actually eat it that I'm like, I don't want greasy fish right now. I want nice, lean, maybe a little mayonnaise, a little cayenne, as you said. I think that's the way to do tuna.
Yeah,
it's a good answer.
I don't believe in the oil. What about you? Same aisle. Same question. Can't be tuna though.
That's tough. Can't be tuna. I am a huge fan of the sardine.
Really?
To stick to the fish theme.
Wow.
They are new to my life, but they're a really, really good snack, and they take hot sauce really good. And a lot of the time I have a craving for hot sauce and not necessarily to eat, and I need a medium by which to ingest. I have 7 to 15 bottles of boutique hot sauce in my cabinet that I always am like, I need another way to try this. I can't just put it on cheese and crackers or put it on tacos. So the sardine is a really good medium for that. You just kind of pick the sauce you want to go for, pop a can open, drizzle
Interesting.
It, eat from there. It's interesting we both chose fish.
Yeah,
I think you kind of led me down that mindset though.
I also think we're both hungry right now.
Super hungry.
And so we're picking proteins.
Do you want to eat some tuna with oil?
No.
All right, because I have a couple cans. We can try it.
All right, so here I know that this is true, but I think it's a little bit so like the grocery store hierarchy. Right?
Yes.
Quality, price, experience. Like, what are the criteria that you use to evaluate this, like, and set up your own hierarchy of grocery stores?
Okay.
How do you navigate it? And like, do you ever make the choice to go to the top? Do you ever go to like the Whole Foods or something for anything?
That's good because I used to go to Whole Foods.
Okay.
When I lived in Providence, there was a Whole Foods or there was a Stop and Shop, and that was it.
Okay.
And the Stop and Shop was stuck in 1978.
Okay.
The linoleum was like cracked and it was like chipped off in some places, and the shelves looked like they're 7 models behind.
Yeah.
And despite the food being the same as any other Stop and Shop, I got a weird vibe in there, like I wasn't getting high quality. The lighting was harsh. The again, it just like didn't feel laid out right. So I used to shop at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
And you know,
it's expensive.
Let's go to Whole Paycheck. Yeah, and it was very expensive. But there's also ways to shop there that aren't.
Okay.
The bulk like beans and grains and things section there is actually pretty reasonable. I still have a bunch of jars full of split peas or like black-eyed peas and things that you can get pretty cheap there at Whole Foods. But I think that's really the only section at that store that isn't a huge ripoff. And for a while, I really valued like the organic eating. And now I kind of feel like, and it's probably completely not true, but I kind of feel like it's a bit of a marketing tactic.
Yeah.
And just, you know, you don't need organic everything.
Well, it seems like part of the constant grocery shopping conundrum, which is, you know, do you shop for price or do you shop for like the quality of the food?
Exactly.
And I have always historically leaned on the price end because I have never had like really the funds to like get the food I want, you know, to get the ideal meal. So that has like really affected the kind of foods that I eat and the foods that I buy every week, right? So the next question, aside from the hierarchy thing, is like, where do you choose to go now?
Okay.
And then what does your weekly like grocery shopping list look like?
Yeah, it's interesting. I go back and forth between where I go and what I buy and what the value is. I always try to make sure that things that I would order takeout, not necessarily where I would go out to eat, because I still think that that's an important part of like a week, like that you go out and have food prepared by someone else served to you. But if I on a Saturday night would order a pizza, I always try to go find the cheapest cost frozen pizza so that I cut that 15 to 18 extra dollars out of my budget.
Totally.
So I do that at Grocery Outlet. Anything frozen, anything that's going to replace me being lazy and ordering takeout will be from Grocery Outlet. The high quality stuff, I usually go and try to get my greens and like my kale and my spinach, my celery. I try to make a smoothie, healthy smoothie in the morning with all my nutrients because I'm just really bad at eating greens.
Yeah.
So if I can just get that dose in a really thick, gross shake in the morning, then I don't really have to worry about keeping my fiber up later in the day, and I can eat the stuff that tastes good to me. So I get the cheap stuff at Grocery Outlet, and I go to Safeway for like my regular produce and stuff like that.
Cool.
How about you?
And then, well, no, wait, because what does your weekly cart look like?
My weekly cart. Let me just go through the last week's
some staples. Yeah.
Okay. So there's always a Costco run at the beginning of the month where I buy a 24, maybe 32 pack of seltzer water to try to keep the soda down. I usually buy like a 12 or 16 pack of coconut water also. So Costco usually takes care of my beverage game.
Okay.
This last week, so I've done the Costco run. The next thing I did, I hit the Safeway run. Let's see, I got like 5 cucumbers, like a bag of kale, washed kale, a bag of spinach, washed spinach. Got like 3 cans of tuna, some bacon, some ground beef, steak, some butter. My snacks have been like nuts and seeds.
Yeah. Yep.
Which are okay. An Almond Joy at checkout last time I was at Safeway. Yeah. It's
a good call.
Yeah, so that was my cart there. Pretty healthy actually. That's
pretty healthy.
I've been trying. What do you get weekly? Or do you shop weekly? We haven't even addressed that.
Yeah.
You try to do the Sunday, but
I try the Sunday, but it ends up having to be weekly.
Yeah.
Because we eat everything.
So you guys aren't ingredients people. You don't go out every day and buy the ingredients for your food.
I would probably like eating dinner better if that were the case. I go weekly. I get, beef, chicken, grains, like rice and stuff, and then a bunch of veggies. But mostly that's just like onion, definitely every week.
Do you buy a
lots of
bag or do you
spinach.
hand select each onion?
I hand select. I only get one onion a week.
Really?
Like we really only the two of us go through one onion's worth because we just do stir fries and stick them in rice, or like do stir fries and it becomes a burrito, or like it's very low effort food.
Oh, this is the worst podcast for me to be doing right now. You're like stir fry with onions. I'm like, yes. Burrito with onions. Yes, please. Whew.
Yep.
Awesome.
So that's what it's like, and it's so it's veggies, and then I don't buy enough snacks. Like I always get in this shitty position where like I don't buy snacks for myself because I'm like, you know what, I don't need that.
Yeah.
And then during the week I'm super hungry, so I
Yes.
eat so much at night. I come home from work and I haven't been snacking all day, so I eat dinner and then
you snack.
I snack. And I eat like, carbs.
Yes.
From like 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. In that window, I will eat carbs and I'll feel awful every time I do.
What are your like go-to 9 to 11 carb snacks? Because I definitely have mine.
Yeah, I mean pizza. I'll make a pizza. We buy pizza dough every week. That's in the list.
That's really smart. That's something I gotta.
Man, it is $1.50 for one pizza's worth of dough at Trader Joe's, and then you just buy the mozzarella and the pepperoni, and it's less than like a Boboli pizza. It's less than a frozen pizza.
Do you use a pizza stone?
No.
You don't need to.
But
Pizza's
I'll eat
the best.
anything. I will like make a quesadilla by just like heating up a flour tortilla with some cheese and folding it over and eat that.
So here's the upgrade. Here's the upgrade for that quesadilla. It will add carbs, but it'll also add joy.
As things tend to. That's how
You
it
gotta
works.
get the refried beans that have the green chili peppers in them already.
Okay.
And you spread the beans on the quesadilla before you put the cheese on.
Okay.
And it adds a little bit of texture. It becomes gooier, and it's a delicious thing.
Nice.
To add to your
Yeah, gooey is essential. But like then I feel shitty the next day, and like my stomach feels terrible, and I feel like bloated
Yes.
and have poor concept of self, poor body image all day long. And I don't know if it's worth it, but it's not changing.
Speaking of body
Hasn't
image,
changed.
right? Speaking of body image, I've been going through this. It was like, no, I don't think I'm fat. Could I stand to lose a few pounds? Yeah, because when I look at photos, I'm like, oh, I didn't look like that 2 years ago. So I tried
Right.
to cut out late night carbs like that, like force myself not to make a quesadilla at night.
No carbs at night.
Right. Eat like pistachios, right, which have very few carbs, like healthy almonds, snacks like that. There's something really interesting about how addicted our bodies are to both processed and unprocessed sugars. Because I spent a week doing this as kind of an experiment. And no matter how much I ate, how many calories I ate from other sources, how much I filled myself up with water or greens or anything, there was still this hunger.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like my stomach, no matter what, no matter how much I'd eaten, was completely empty for me if I ever decided I wanted to go back to carbs.
Okay.
Like, it was like, hey, we got space for you. If you want to make a quesadilla, that's cool. We don't care how much you ate already. And it felt like that. And it was so eye-opening.
Yeah.
To try and cut that stuff out like through self-discipline.
Yeah. And so would yes or no? Low carb diet.
I'm going to say maybe. I think it has its merits. I also think that there was a point where I was at the gym and I had done 30 minutes of cardio on the elliptical, and I decided I'm going to do 20 minutes of cardio in the pool.
Right.
And by the time I was about maybe 5 or 10 minutes into my workout in the pool, I could literally feel that my body had no energy left to continue swimming. Mm-hmm. So there is something about not having carbs. Like if your body is processing the fats and things for energy, it's a lot harder, at least it was for me, to exert the same kind of burst strength.
Okay.
And as soon as that happened, I was like, okay, this isn't long-term feasible.
Right. So let's like pivot on that.
Okay.
Get away from the food.
Okay.
Delivery services for groceries. I used to do the what is it, the Peapod or something with Stop and Shop.
And you would order, what would happen?
And so you order it online, you go through like their entire consistent inventory, and you check off the things you want delivered, and they deliver it, and the fee wasn't that bad.
Okay, so they don't leave it like ready to.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't just leave it for anyone to take.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what it. Because I recently used a free trial for a couple of the meal delivery services online, and I actually feel like a bit of a genius for doing these. All those, I mean, it's a meal in a box, right? They send you 3 days worth of food. There's like
Blue
a million
Apron,
of them. There's like
those
Blue
kinds of
Apron,
things.
HelloFresh, and from there, I've been Target added 15 or 20 more of them, and they all have this startup offer. So I've been churning these startup offers for like a couple weeks.
That's great.
So I started off with, and it was all by accident. I signed up for this
No.
brand. I was like, it looks good. I kind of want to try it. I was listening to a podcast I liked. They had a discount code. I was like, cool. I entered it in, and I almost paid for it. And I was like, I have a bunch of groceries. I should eat these first.
Yeah.
So I waited on it. I sat on it. And every week they would send me a code, and it kept climbing up, like $5 more off. And then it was like $10 more off. And I was like, oh, this is starting to get reasonable. Yeah. And eventually they were like, we'll send you 6 meals for $20. I was like, sold.
Done.
So I did it. And
Yeah.
it came. And it was cool because they pack it so that it can be left on the porch.
I know, yeah.
They've got ice, and then they put the meat under the ice, and then they put a cardboard divider. They portion all the stuff out in little bags. I feel a little bad about how wasteful it is, but those...
So wasteful, but...
I mean, the meals are delicious, and they push me to try recipes that I've never tried before.
Yeah.
So thumbs up to that.
Yeah, I would also say yes. You gifted me a Blue Apron box, so Hannah and I got one for free. And making those meals is A, really easy. B, like, they do a really good job of flavor management. Like, they're good meals.
Yeah, tasty.
And I was like, shit. But the thing about it is, if you're paying full price for it, it's just not worth it.
Right.
It's like $9 a meal.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what I've done is I just start making those. I got 3 new recipes from them. Great. Yeah. Now when I go to the store, I have 3 new tools in my arsenal.
Yes.
And I can remake those things for half the cost of what they charge for them. So for exposure to new cuisine and somehow with the discounts, really cheap start entry points, I think they're worth it. And I'm just going to continue to churn that exact same way through all of them every other week. Like if I can get
how many
6
have you
meals
tried
for
now?
$20, I've tried 2 now.
Okay.
And I've paid a total of, I believe, $80 for 2 of them.
For 2 boxes.
So that's a week of groceries for $40 twice.
Right.
When you average it out.
That's not bad.
Pretty good.
That's really not bad.
And then all you got to buy is snacks.
Right.
To pivot from meal delivery services, which is the pinnacle of the lazy consumer.
Yep.
Let's pivot to another trend that is happening in supermarkets all over, is the self-checkout, where it's the complete opposite of being the lazy consumer, where you now, not only are you in charge of walking around and getting all your stuff, you're in charge of providing what used to be $8 an hour labor.
Right, they're saving a lot of money. Yeah.
But people choose to do that.
Yes, I choose to do that.
Do you choose to do that because it's faster?
Because I don't have to deal with a person.
Really? You do
I don't like people. Or
Tell
like
me more about that.
I like people, but I don't like people engaging with people in those specific situations because okay, so the popular reaction to hearing somebody say, I don't like engaging with people in the supermarket is like, oh no, whatever, everyone's like, this is definitely the Californian reaction, is like, no, everyone's cool, like you just go through and like have a little tiny conversation with the person, and like everyone's nice. But the thing is like, that is a bullshit way to think about somebody who's doing a job that involves them doing any kind of service for you. When I've been in so many of those jobs, my personal experience of being that person is I don't want to talk to you either. So what it is just an awkward moment. It's just a really long awkward moment.
So this is like a benevolent move from you. You are choosing to spare that poor worker.
No, because they have to deal with some other asshole.
That's true.
So, but I don't have to engage in this. It's the same thing as like when you're waiting in line for the bathroom and 2 people are just standing next to each other and you don't say anything. You don't like meet a new friend. You don't like nothing great happens. And they don't turn you on to a great book.
Nothing good happens in the line for the bathroom. Yeah, exactly.
No.
You don't make a lifetime buddy.
No, and it's super uncomfortable, and I have a lot of anxiety, and I don't like talking to people. I make Hannah ask if we have to like ask for something, like where are the dishes in this Target? Like I make Hannah do it because I'm just too embarrassed.
Yeah,
it's like It's not laziness either because I'm
No,
okay with
it doesn't
swiping
sound
the
like
groceries.
laziness.
I can swipe the groceries. It's just, I don't know, it's an anxiety thing, I guess.
Huh. I don't really like the self-checkout. The thing that
Why?
really bothers me about the self-checkout, it's not the fact that the stores cut their employees to make the regular lines longer so that you want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
It's more that there's that pressure sensor on the other side.
Yes.
And it never seems to work right for me.
Interesting.
Like they're always like, please place the item on the pressure pad. And you put it there and they're like, please put, and you can't scan another item until their scale decides it wants to work again. It always ends up taking me longer to do all that. The other thing that kind of bothers me, and it's so irrational, it doesn't make any sense. When you pay with cash,
Yes.
it makes it way less convenient because you have to feed like a bunch of ones in, and then they just dump a bunch of coins out on you.
They do.
And some places will dump dollar coins out on you. So you pay for something that's $8 with a 20,
Yeah.
and you get $12 coins back.
Which you're gonna
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, what am I gonna do with all these Sacagawea coins?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I understand those pain points, but I feel like not having to interact with people outweighs it. I've had that experience, right? I've been there and I've been like, I put the damn paper towels on the pressure sensor thing and it's not reading it. But I don't know. But then you do have to deal with the person. The person has to
You
come
have to
over.
call the person over. They've got to change the light from red to green, and they look at you like you're a fucking idiot.
Because you are.
It's
like in that moment, it doesn't matter if it's your fault. You're still an idiot. You still look like an ass to everyone else, and everyone behind you is pissed at you.
Right. You interrupt him trying to get a couple extra pages of Game of Thrones in before he has to go help the next idiot.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. I want to play another round of Supermarket Sweep.
All right.
I'm going to pose another aisle to you. This aisle has a lot more potential, but I feel like people defend their choices in this aisle with a lot more passion than the tuna and sardines aisle. So this aisle is the microwavable frozen snack aisle.
I know it well. I know this aisle.
As do I.
I can see this aisle right now. My eyes are closed. I'm walking down the aisle. I see the frozen pizzas on the right.
Yep.
I see the frozen chicken on the left.
The fog is creeping up from the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
You can the bottom row is a little bit obscured. But
It's probably...
you gotta look over it and see what's there just in case.
Yep. It's probably 2 a.m. One thing. I need a minute.
You need a minute.
I need a minute to think about this one.
It's very situational. I think that this changes a lot. In the moment, right now, if I were standing in this aisle and could only pick one thing,
Yeah.
I think I would get frozen the TGI Fridays jalapeno poppers.
Oh, yeah. Those are pretty good.
And they're definitely not my favorite. They're definitely not the best. But my palate right now says if you don't buy 8 of those and throw them down your gullet, you're making a huge mistake.
Okay.
And you dip them in a little bit of blue cheese or a little bit of ranch.
Yes.
I know that's an add-on item.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's probably in the fridge already. Let's be real.
Blue cheese is in the fridge.
It's in the fridge.
I'm going to go with bagel bites. I'm going to go with specifically the pepperoni bagel bites.
Okay, I was actually predicting that you were going to say one of two things. And it's been an ongoing debate that we've had off air. And I think it's time to bring it right to the podcast.
Let's bring it to the pod.
I knew Ryan was either going to say bagel bites or pizza rolls.
It's a hard choice.
Why did you choose bagel bites this time?
Pizza rolls are too... Okay, so yes, I thought of pizza rolls.
Oh, I know.
This is the answer to the question. I also thought of, however, the frozen, just whatever like the generic brand is, like little fried chicken tender things.
Yep.
The barbecue ones or the hot wings. Because
Okay.
those are also a good choice. Yeah. But I went with the bagel bites because the problem with pizza rolls is that you cook them and then the inside... The heat is contained. The heat can't escape.
It's molten.
It's like too hot. So you bite it. The first 5 pizza rolls you eat burn the shit out of your mouth. Bagel bites, you just wait a minute. My process is I cook them and then I actually put them in the freezer for like 5 to 10 minutes.
Really?
And then I eat them and then they're at the perfect temperature.
Center temperature,
Yeah.
right? Because that's the thing that always screws you.
It goes from the freezer into the oven, back into the freezer, into my mouth.
Was that an idea that you had and it just happened to work
I've
out?
always done
Did
it.
you research bagel, like best way to...
No. This started when I was probably like 12, 13. At my dad's house, we would get these Celeste pizzas.
Oh, those are good.
Those are so great.
Really good. They're like $1 and they're personal sized, right? Am I remembering correctly?
Mm-hmm. And you can microwave them, so I would microwave those, and they were always too hot. They get like gooey in the middle, and I would, for some reason, just thought to stick it in the fridge or stick it in the freezer.
Just to
the freezer was better.
Sure it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then just fold it in half and eat the whole damn thing.
You fold it in half.
Yes.
So you like BYOC, build your own calzone.
I did. Yeah.
I want to talk about calzones for a minute.
All right, let's talk
Did
about
they
calzones.
just make a pizza, fold it over, and bake it? Or is there a different process?
It can't be, because I tried to make a calzone with the Trader Joe's pizza dough, and it just... Okay, so imagine this. Picture this. You put it in. You had folded a pizza in half, essentially. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I took the edges and kind of
pressed them,
wet them, and stuck them together so that it seemed like they would hold.
It sounds like you're doing everything right. What happened?
However... and I cut a little hole in the top because I thought maybe the heat would explode it.
I would have cut a hole in the top because every calzone I've ever had looks like they have a hole cut in the top and be like, I'm pretending right now. Slice, slice, slice.
It teaches you how to make it. And then I open it when it's supposedly done. I open the oven, and it's just an evenly flat layer of just cooked dough and cheese. That's the size of the entire pan, and some of it had spilled over.
So it's spread out.
Yeah, just flattened.
I wonder if that has something to do with the like huge difference between... I bet pizza places cook their stuff at like 600 something degrees for half as long as you would at home.
Interesting.
I wonder if it's as the dough is allowed to get warm.
Wouldn't that just burn it?
Period of time. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just speculating.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know at all.
So you folded your Celeste pizzas in half and made your own... I'm gonna call it ghetto calzone.
I did,
because those Celeste pizzas are so cheap, and I remember that was my go-to. Like, you come home from school,
yes,
and it's not dinner time and it's not lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
You need something to tie you over.
Yep,
it's the equivalent of like one slice of real pizza. It's really small.
I'd say it's two.
Two.
I'd say it's 2 slices of real pizza.
I'll give you 2.
Yeah,
I'll give you 2.
Yeah,
Those
it's super good though.
Do they still exist?
I have no idea. I haven't seen them.
Sounds like we need to make a trip to the grocery
store. Yeah, we gotta go to Safeway.
My next question, you mentioned Target earlier.
I did.
And I had never thought of Target as a supermarket.
Every time I'm there, I see people grocery shopping in the supermarket.
So I actually wanted to talk specifically about Walmart as a supermarket.
Oh, okay.
Because it seems like they, in some parts of this country, when I was leading trips in the Pacific Southwest, I guess not Pacific, the Southwest, they have like a full grocery store that's like high quality, it seems. They've got organic and non-organic. They've got the entryway is like wood grain. I mean, Walmart is really trying to step it up. But a place that I had never thought was a supermarket. What are your thoughts on these retailers, traditionally the mom and pop upsetters, now trying to upset the big, seemed like organized supermarket industry?
Yeah. So I'm into the mom and pop. I don't want my selection of brands to be so consistent because honestly, okay, so this is the thing that I truly feel about groceries. I feel like I feel a little bit depressed about groceries just in general.
Okay.
I feel like I always get the same brands. It's always the same routine. I'm not really interested in it. I eat food and then feel shitty about my body. And then like the whole experience of groceries, the eating part I love, but the whole experience of before and after, it just seems really depressing to me. And I think that the mom and pop coming up thing, when I go to a new grocery store, usually it's super fucking expensive, but when I go to a new grocery store, or one that I haven't been to before is what I mean, like I have a more positive experience because it feels a little bit new and less depressing.
I like that perspective. But mom and pop, I can't even think of a mom and pop grocery store that I've ever been to. Like a grocery store where I can outfit all my needs. Most of them.
Oh, where you can just get everything?
Yeah. I mean, what would be an example
When
of...
we were growing up in Northborough, there was Lowe's.
That's a really
There
good
still
example.
is Lowe's.
Lowe's is still around.
It's still in business.
Shout out to Lowe's.
Tommy
I love
Lowe,
that place.
creepiest guy I have ever worked for.
Yeah, mom and pop stores are like a few and far between, at least definitely in California. I can relate to your experience of going to a new grocery store and it feeling very fresh.
Yeah.
And I can also relate this to a conversation about culture shock, which puts me in a situation where I just moved in an apartment in a predominantly Latino neighborhood,
Yep.
a pretty well-to-do, predominantly Latino neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a grocery store called Mi Pueblo across the street, which I
Yeah.
had never seen anything other than a bodega that is predominantly Mexican cuisine.
Right.
And that place is awesome.
Really?
You can get pre-seasoned al pastor, chicken, beef, whatever. Like basically the raw ingredients that any taco truck within 3 miles of here would grill up.
Yeah.
If they're not making it themselves, they're buying it there, and it's delicious.
That's awesome.
So you can go and get, but the prices are phenomenal. You can get this
Really?
pre-marinated meat, come home, cook it up, do your own taco night for like under $8.
Wow.
And you can have 3 days worth of tacos. It's great.
That's great.
They've got house-made chicharrones. They got the pork rinds like all fresh and fried up. And then Mexican brands of certain things are just fantastic. Like there's Mexican juices that are just better than anything they could ever dream up here.
Mm-hmm.
So I really hope there isn't a wall so that free flow of that type of grocery, like the products that come out of Mexico, are usually made with cane sugar instead of with high fructose
That's
corn
what I was
syrup.
gonna say. Yep.
The tortillas are fresh, and they're like, some of them are still handmade according to the packages.
Oh wow.
I just think there's
They're not those mission tortillas.
They're not mission.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're, you get a pack of, they look like they're wrapped by a person and not by a conveyor belt.
Right. And that makes it less depressing.
A little bit less depressing.
Absolutely makes it less
sure.
depressing. Yeah, because like the bread place I was talking about that was in Somerville, that was just like a little bakery, and that made my bread buying experience like pleasurable and not shitty. Not like I'm buying Oro wheat or Arnold or whatever.
So now that I think about it, when you press me, the closest thing to a mom and pop experience that we have for grocery shopping is the concept and idea of the farmer's market.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about farmers markets yet.
We have not. And I think that they are problematic in a lot of ways, but I think that they're kind of cool in a lot of ways.
Do you go to any regularly? Have you ever gone to them regularly?
Yes.
Okay.
I have made a conscious decision not to go to them regularly because of there's a shift that has happened in farmers markets that I've frequented where it's no longer meat, eggs, fruits, and veggies. It's become
stuff.
Artisanal soaps and handbags and just all the bullshit that should stay on Etsy has displaced my grass-fed beef stand. And now they're selling yoga mats with, hand-painted floral. I'm just making this up, but that actually sounds like a good business idea.
But it seems like...
Buy it on the Walnut podcast store.
It seems like the Whole Foods problem, too, though. It's like, you've got stuff. Like, there's suddenly, like, retail going on. And, okay, so, like, at a farmer's market, I imagine people are making and selling things themselves. You're supporting, like, not the giant conglomerates or whatever.
Right.
But I've always found farmers markets to be just sort of innately hateable.
Yeah.
And I know that it's like,
For
okay, you go,
reasons.
you support good people or whatever. I believe in supporting things that you care about. Pay bands that you listen to music from.
Yes.
If you like them, pay them. Like, pay people who actually do the work rather than paying the company that makes money off of them. That kind of shit. I'm all for it. Farmers markets make me feel like I'm having a weird conversation. This is, again, it's social, I guess.
Yeah.
With, like, a kind of... Like, I'm interacting with a worldview that makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Do you know what specifically about that worldview that makes you uncomfortable? Because I'm wondering if it's the interaction with the person, or it's the concept of all these people, like, setting up booths and really trying to market something that doesn't need to be marketed. Like, people need their greens, and if they choose to go to the farmer's market to buy greens, you don't have to be giving them free samples of a persimmon in order to lure them to your corner.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I'm just deeply turned off by friendliness. Is the thing. Like, people at farmers markets are like, they seem like really cool when I've been, and they're very outgoing and friendly, and they'll talk to you about their thing, and it makes me extremely uncomfortable.
Okay.
It's probably not a popular opinion, but it makes me... And, okay, so the thing you're asking, like, what's the specific criticism?
Yeah. Because I have my own, but I think yours are very different.
Yeah, maybe. I just feel like the idea that I have heard people I've known who go to farmers markets talk about is the idea of being a thoughtful consumer. And that idea seems like a very good, very potentially negative sales. I'm working in marketing right now. That seems like a really great way to sell shit. And I think that, like, it's okay, so it's like Tom's shoes, right?
Right.
Point of purchase guilt relief.
Huh.
Like, point of purchase, I'm being an activist
Yeah,
because
I hear you.
I buy this one thing. Starbucks, sourcing their beans or whatever. It's like, it tells you that by buying this product, you are a good person. That thing is in a farmer's market, the ones that I've been to. That attitude feels present, even if it's not real.
I want to add a little nuance to your argument because I think it's not. I think what it's internalized as is by buying this product, I am a good person. But really, all that company is saying is that by us sourcing this product, right? It's marketing, exactly marketing, where they're telling you we do less harm than the other person.
Yes.
And then you make a value judgment and decide that you are a better person by buying that product. It's a little bit more nuanced, but it I think puts a lot more of the onus on the person who decides to buy that product and less on the company that chooses to offer it.
Oh, totally.
Why wouldn't you offer that?
But that's the thing that makes it cultural.
Right. How would you solve that? Let's say what could change about a farmer's market structure or anything like that, other than robots running the stands because you don't want to talk to the people. How could that experience change for you in order to make it something that you would use, or would you just inherently not shop in that structure?
Let's see. I think honestly, I think my reasons for not going to farmers markets and my general just negative feeling about it as a concept is all in my head. I don't think there's anything the farmers market can do. I think they're probably really great. I think there's probably good shit happening. You're buying the food from the source, whatever. I am all about this idea of the farm share, which I believe is a similar. I think is a similar thought process that goes into doing a farm share. I would 100% do a farm share. Again, I don't have to interact with people.
Huh. Yeah. Farm share sounds cool. It's a cool concept. I've never done it, but I would consider that. The way you fix a farmer's market for me is you get rid of the shit that's not food.
Yeah.
Even the shit that is prepared food, you get a dip or something like that. I even kind of don't want that there. Though some of them are good. Most of them suck.
Yeah.
Let's be real. There's always the dudes at the farmer's market who are hawking the spreads for flatbread. It's at every single farmer's market, and they're like, "Here, try this one and the other one," and they're $7 a piece. You want to buy one, and then they give you the guilt stare because you just ate a whole flatbread of theirs,
right?
And they're like, "Go buy one." I'm like, "Nah, I don't even want you here. I want to buy some cauliflower, a little bit of meat, pack of eggs, later." Yeah,
the basics. I only want the basics.
So, official stance on farmers markets?
I would say no.
I'm going to say no until you ban all the other things. I don't want to see leather purses. They probably wouldn't be leather at the farmer's market. They would be vegan purses. No vegan purses, and I'll go back to the farmer's market.
Become robots, and I'll go to the farmer's market.
Cool. You heard it here. Walnut Desk Podcast. How to fix farmer's markets.
How to fix farmer's markets. All right, so we can't really do a groceries yes or no.
No.
But we can do our current grocery habits, yes or no?
Do I want to change my grocery habits right now? No. I kind of like them. Do I think that I could be a little bit more mindful about what goes in my cart? Yes. Because just like you said earlier, I tend to walk the same perimeter around the same grocery store, buy the same few things, check out, come home, and I'm a little bit deflated by the regularity and the mundanity of my cart. I think that I'm going to try to vary it up, and make better choices in my cart next week.
Yeah. Try some foods. Everybody, try some foods you don't usually eat. Make yourself excited about your shopping experience.
Yeah. Try the 1% instead of the 2%. Go out on a limb. Get excited.
Get the different brand. Like organize. Like think of grocery shopping as decorating your refrigerator. Let's just do one more supermarket sweep.
How about you choose this one? I'm out of ideas, Ryan.
Yep, I'm gonna choose the aisle. I'm going to go with the potato chips aisle / snacks aisle. This is an aisle I avoid when I'm shopping.
I skip it. I completely skip that. I completely skip the aisle with the candy on it too, because they sell bigger bags of candy at supermarkets than at convenience stores, and I will buy a 2-pound bag of Sour Patch watermelons. I choose. If we're in the Northeast, I would choose Cape Cod salt and vinegar kettle cooked chips.
Yes.
If we are anywhere else, I would choose the blue bag Lay's salt and vinegar chips.
God, I would have the same choice, and so I'm gonna pick something else.
Really? I didn't know you liked salt and vinegar chips.
I love salt and vinegar chips.
Oh, dude, we gotta get some salt and vinegar chips.
It's hard though, because like I get them and then like they're in my apartment or house or whatever for a maximum of 12 hours.
Oh, I eat the whole bag.
Yeah.
And then you get that like
it burns
lining on the inside of your mouth where you know you just made a bad choice.
Right, but I'm gonna switch up.
Okay.
I'm gonna get the tortillas, the Scoops tortillas.
Ooh.
Plus queso dip.
Plus queso. You get two things?
I'm
gonna buy two things? Do I get two things?
I mean, do you want to dip your salt and vinegar chips in something?
No, but there's only one thing you could dip that in that would be good, and that's the French onion dip.
That's true.
Because everything goes good with French onion dip.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's really just what it's
mayonnaise.
No,
it's mayonnaise and spices.
Is it
sour cream and spices?
Sour cream.
Yeah.
It's sour cream and spices. Yeah.
Delicious.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
All right. Well, that's all we have for you for today. This is the Walnut Desk Podcast. Goodbye.